We just got 103 new patients last month, and that was in January, which is typically the worst month of the year. And in this video, I want to break down exactly how we did that, the process, and no, it wasn't from salesy techniques and discounting and getting people to do salesy cheesy things. No, it was a process that we actually followed for the whole of 2024, which generated us over 107 new patients a month consistently. If you're someone who runs a clinic, you know how difficult it is to get new patients. You know how stressful it is to always think about the next month and how do I get these high quality patients? How do I produce enough leads? How do I balance that and pay close attention to actually running the business? So there are certain lessons I want to share with you today that, in my opinion, changed the game for us, changed the game for a lot of our private clients, and we know the formula works. So if you think about chiropractic in general, or if you're just a clinic owner in the health industry, there are certain things that I believe I can generalize and say that people struggle with. I don't want to shy away from kind of beating around the bush and not address the problem for what it is. And here is the problem. The problem is that most clinic owners have come from a place of being a practitioner. And when they open their practice, they still think like the practitioner. And thinking like most practitioners and most chiropractors is going to produce you exactly the same results as they get in their practices. And the moment I stopped chasing new patients, the moment I started actually building my business as a system, having predictable ways of generating new patients every single month, everything changed. And how cool will it be if we can share those lessons with everyone, but also see it for yourself? And there are times where I have to be very careful, should I say, about not over-promising the world to people, because again, it relies on you actually putting the work and putting the effort. But if you're working on the wrong thing, you still can work really hard and not see these kind of numbers per month, not seeing 100 new patients a month. And by the way, this is a very small part of what running a successful business looks like, but it's still one of the most important parts. So there are 3 lessons I want to share with you. And these lessons are not lessons I read in a book. They're not lessons someone told me in a mastermind or a coach taught me without me actually doing the work. I do this every single year for the last 7 or 8 years now as a business owner. And yes, we see these awesome results. And what's even more interesting now is in my mastermind, we teach people how to do that. They apply it and they see the same results, sometimes even better. I was talking to a client last week, early last week, and we launched a campaign for them. We did a lot of testing, bearing in mind we spent the last 4 to 6 months building their systems, and he's doubled his business. He's hired his first team members. He took a holiday, some time off to go on vacation, and the business ran itself like a well-oiled machine, which means that their patients were seeing, they were still happy, and it didn't rely on him, which is really, really important. You've got to take business for what it is. You've got to take business for what it is. And a business, by definition, is an entity that can survive without you and still deliver the service. And I want you to ask yourself the question, what would it mean if you can have a predictable machine that generates new patients every single month without you having to necessarily spend thousands of pounds on marketing, by the way? And here is the first lesson that I learned. Now, the first thing to consider is, how do I remove, you have to excuse my drawing skills, but how do I remove, or are able to remove, the hat that I wear as, let's say this is your chiropractic hat, and how do I make sure that I have a way of replacing this hat with a different hat, which is potentially my, this is a hat by the way, potentially my business hat. Because this is the biggest thing in business is, especially when you're first starting, it's really difficult because you don't know how to wear different hats. Some of you don't even know that there is more than one hat existing in the business. But when I first started, in my first 0 to 12 months, I was the cleaner of the clinic. I was the chiropractor of the clinic. I was the manager of the clinic. I was hiring CAs. I was training CAs. I was taking payments. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that business it's not this like thing that just happens. You've got to make it happen. And if I sound like a lecturer, and maybe I've upset some of you, good. It means that if I've touched on an emotional piece of string, it's probably true. And yes, I was lucky enough to have good mentors in my life at this stage, because I believe the first year we were like 200 members. Within my business, we had a team of close to 10 people from scratch, and we were doing some really good numbers. So I know what you're going through if you think that I haven't been there. But the point is, you've got to understand that there are different hats in the business. So the first thing is, how do I make sure that I know what does that even look like in terms of marketing, financing, building systems, building procedures, still delivering an amazing service for your clients. But speaking of clients, lesson number one is this: clients don't buy adjustments, they buy results. And what I mean by that is, if you don't have a good product, if you've not worked on your chiropractic skills, your communication skills, building systems for how to design a good patient journey, the stuff that we teach people every single day, and I know the difference it makes, you're not going to have successful new patient acquisition channel. Even if you get 2,000 patients a month, even if I give you all everyone in town that you serve, if you don't have a way to replicate results most of the time. So obviously we're not going to help every single patient, but if you can help 9 people out of 10 every single time, then yes, the machine will work. If you think of this as like a funnel and you are just adding more new patients in and more new patients in and more new patients in, but at this different level of the funnel, you don't have a way to serve them properly, to get good customer experience, for them to refer, you're just going to end up with still no money, no happy patients, and no business. Yes, it hurts. And yes, someone told me that when I was making those mistakes myself earlier on. But now we know that actually patients don't buy adjustments, they buy results. So before you start pumping money into your new patient acquisition channel, you better get this right. I just spent 4 months building a program on how to build the perfect patient journey playbook. This is a collection of systems where we basically go through day 1, day 2. We have some good day 3, progress reviews, re-exams, follow-up funnels, SMS reminders, training the team and the CAs and patients how to look after themselves and how to have a way of getting results with most people. And that is really, really important. I can tell you, I can give you the exact playbooks that we have. I have, again, another probably 12 hours worth of coaching material on new patient acquisition channels. But unless you get the results, unless you know how to deliver an amazing service, there is no point pumping more money into that machine. So that's the first lesson. Second lesson is, if you get good results and you can start breathing, you can say, oh my God, what I'm doing actually works. Fantastic. The second thing is patient experience. This doesn't mean you just wow them with the adjustment or the treatment, because some of them might not even get to start care or stay with you for more than a week or two if you don't have good patient experience. Think of your first associate or even yourself after college. It's so difficult to know what success looks like for you and for the patient and for the clinic if you haven't done it. So we have certain scripts, we have certain procedures, we have certain what we call SOPs, standard operating procedures. These are things that basically means that if I'm in the building, things work at a certain standard in my business. If I'm not in the building, and it's Saturday, and I'm chilling with the family, the same standard of care, the same standard of customer service, the same standard of results are still met, they're still delivered. Think of like Tesla. And I'm not comparing associates or chiropractors or business owners to robots, but think about Tesla as a concept. These guys produce, they told me about my car, is they produce a Tesla every 4 minutes here in the UK. And guess what? 99.99999% of the time, that car comes out and the results are the same. The software works the same, the manual is the same, it looks the same, they're just kind of changing the colors and the spec. But what if you can do that with your business? If you can produce this incredibly high standard of care, but you then find a way to police it and keep people accountable so that that's produced without you being there. Or even if you are there. You know, I spoke to a couple of my private clients, and sorry for sharing this guys on social media, but these guys were doing really well on the surface level. And then I said to them, look, I do need to see your KPIs. This is the KPI tracker. Please complete it for the last 6 months so we can see that there is enough data, and let's draw some conclusions from it. Oh my goodness. The results were shocking. To them. To me, I semi-expected it, because if you do business properly, it's quite predictable, the outcome. So you think of the business as like this machine that has inputs and outputs, and if the inputs are a certain quality, certain amount, certain quantity, the outputs are predictable. They were shocked. So yes, this video is specifically on new patients, but also don't over obsess about the new patient thing, because you might have lots of other problems in the business, and the new patient will just exaggerate the problems you might have. So results driven, patient experience driven. And the third one is you just need a system or systems. We have over 20 probably. Systems, sorry guys, my spelling is terrible, for new patient acquisition channels. So what are the ways that we have developed over the last 10, 15, 20 years as a corporation that we can generate new patients? Well, someone told me once that the worst number in business is 1. That's true. You don't want all your patients to come from referral. A lot of clinics brag about that. I don't actually think that's a good thing, especially when you're building a proper business. But referrals might be one way. Do you have a system for referrals? In one of my courses, I teach the guys to have referral stations. We have referral, we have referral loyalty scheme for our clients. So this is another system. It's a referral scheme. This produced us probably around 35 new patients last month from 100. And so 30-40% of our patients come from referral-based acquisition channels. But even from the referral channels, we have probably 2 or 3 ways of generating referrals. One might be stationary cards. Another one might be we have this cool app that we developed. Another one might be the loyalty scheme. Another one might be sending the occasional email. So there are channels within the channels. So if someone like a client who wants to work with us comes to me and says, oh, we struggle with new patients, I just think to myself, there is so much you can do. And people just don't even know what that looks like. So marketing isn't just about getting people in. It's about making sure that they stay, making sure they bring other people, making sure you have referral systems, making sure you do local events, and just think based on where you are in your, let's call it your journey in business. This is you starting, and this is you in 10 years time, retiring and super nice and successful and happy and fulfilled and hopefully giving back to society. It looks like this. As long as you're going this way, it's very important to look at the long-term picture, right? It's very important to understand this long-term process. But this is what I wanted to say. You have to understand that there are so many ways to do things, and there is no right or wrong. There is right or wrong based on where you are on your journey. And what I mean by that is, I spoke to someone last week. They're less than £10,000 in revenue in their business, and they're talking about Google PPC ads. Google PPC ads outside the context is a great thing, but there are many questions you want to ask yourself before you run your Google PPC ads. How do I run them? How effective are they for my clinic? How do I set up the landing pages for it? The done for you service that we do, I would say I can replicate 2 clinics, exactly the same ad, but if we don't specialize it to that particular audience, that particular location, that color scheme on their website, all that stuff that takes time and energy and testing, it's probably not going to convert as well. So if I'm making 50K a month, 100% I'll be spending money on Google PPC ads. If I'm just starting and I'm making £2,000 a month and I'm competing with people locally that are a lot further than me, it's not going to be the best use for my money. But what I might do is I might find local events, I might find spinal screening, outreach events. I might build an amazing referral system so that my patients give me patients, and we find ways how to incorporate that. So for every new patient that we get, we can generate another new patient. So there's lots and lots of ways, which is why I get so upset when I speak to clinics and they struggle with this kind of stuff, because business is easy once you know what you're doing. It's very difficult to know what you're doing. But if you're feeling tired and you feel like these slow bumps and patients drop off, or I don't get enough new patients, well, guys, there's lots of things that you can do. I've been there. I know how it feels. It's an awful feeling. Every month was like, here we go again. We've got to somehow pay the bills and get enough new patients. But it doesn't have to be that way. So we help clinic owners figure it out. We help clinic owners build better businesses so that you can serve more in your community. You can have bigger impact. But business shouldn't be a headache. It should be an exciting journey. And journeys have ups and downs. And journeys are not necessarily a walk in a park. But this thing is replicable. You can replicate it. Look at me. I'm like my mid to late 30s. Could barely speak a word of English when I was 15, 16. Now I run a team of 15 full-time team members. God knows how many subcontractors we have. We make 7 figures a year. I don't work in the business anymore. If I can do it, imagine what you can do. So I wanted this video not to be patronizing. I wanted this video to have a sense of authenticity and also a sense of it's possible. If Stefan, this idiot, can do it, so can I. So guys, if you want to have a chat, yes, of course, I will jump on the call. I tend to spend about 6 to 7 hours a week on calls like this where people just want to discuss their business and is that a good match? Can you help me? How can you help me? I know a lot of people have also not necessarily had the best experiences out there with other coaches and gurus, but I still have skin in the game. Literally run my business, and in order for me to run my business successfully, and I teach people how to do that, I better deliver the results myself as well. So my backside is on the line and my name is on the line, but this is why I make these videos, because I want to inspire people to understand that once you get this whole business thing, it becomes easy. And again, it's not coming from a place of patronizing or trying to put people down. I was there for a long time. I was having to figure things out, and it's just sometimes feels like impossible and just wave the white flag and give up. But do not give up. This stuff is teachable. A lot of this stuff is skills, and these skills are learned. A lot of it is breaking bad habits, and a lot of the people that pay me money, and they pay me good money, is to tell them what not to do. How much would it cost you not knowing how to make £1 million a year? How much does that cost you? Cost you £1 million? One of my mentors told me that earlier in life. So now you have to start having that mindset shift that, yes, maybe I have good results. Yes, maybe I get the best patient experience, but so what if you do it to 2 people? So what if there's 10 new clients that came through the door last month? The whole system needs to work in synchrony. Hope you found this helpful. If there will be a link somewhere in the video, if you do want to have a chat, if I think I can help you, I will let you know. If I think that we're not a good match, I will also let you know. And I'll still respect you. I'll give you a virtual hug, and I'll tell you how you can do better. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And a lot of you that are watching are not subscribed, so please do. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.